The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X Zone, everyone. It's a brand new week here, and I hope that each and every one of you had a super weekend. Brandy at Master Control, nice working with you. And you, the X Zone Nation, the best radio nation in the world, welcome to the X Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. This is a place where people believe where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, and we come to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern right here on the Talkstar Radio Network and our fine family of broadcast affiliates across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, 20 Asian countries, and now across Europe. If you'd like to give me a call, X Zone Nation, 1-877-528-8255. Now that is toll free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. On MSN Messenger, Talkstar Radio at hotmail.com. My email address is xzone@talkstarradio.com. And our websites, www.xzoneradio.com and www.xzonetv.com, where you can watch, listen, and chat with the other members of the X Zone Nation. On tonight's show, X Zone Nation, we have, joining me in a few minutes, Mike Stone. We're going to be talking about hypnosis. Mike is with the South Florida Hypnosis people. Mark Paulson is in hour number 2. And the question we're asking Mark is, are celebrity diets and personal trainers killing the stars? Hour number 3, I'm going to be doing an open mic. But joining me is Eric Altman. We're going to be talking about, has anyone submitted photos for that $1 million prize of Bigfoot? And we're also going to be talking about the East Coast Paranormal Conference that's coming up on September the 27th. And then finally tonight, Elie Marzulli joins us for his weekly segment of Politics, Prophecy, and the Paranormal. All this tonight here on the X Zone, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network from our studios in beautiful Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. All right, on this date in 1836, Congress approved the Deposit Act, which contained a provision for turning over surplus federal revenue to the states. Whew, boy, am I ever glad they got that problem solved. In 1868, Christopher Latham Sholes received a patent for the typewriter. Okay, Sholes really invented the device with the partners S.W. Soule and G. Glidden. And let me see, also on this date in 1970, Chubby Checker was arrested for possession of marijuana. Now we know why he got so chubby. Selma Blair turns 34 today. Singer Chico DeBarge, who's the biggest claim to fame so far, has been mentioning him on the radio, turns 38 today. And U.S. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas turns 60. Some things you may not want to know, but I'm going to tell you anyway. A group of high school girls, none over the age of 16 in Massachusetts, made a pact to have babies so they could raise them together. 17 girls at the high school are now pregnant. Okay, a Self Magazine online survey found 26 of us exaggerate about how much sex we're having. All right, I think that's slightly higher. I don't think everybody was truthful with that one. A new Oscar rule limits song nominations to only 2 per film, and 25 celebrities will get their own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame this week, including Hugh Jackman, Ben Kingsley, Tinker Bell, Felicity Huffman, William H. Macy, Carmen Diaz, Robert Downey Jr., Tim Burton, and let's see, who else do we have here? John Stamos, The Miracles, and Harry Shearer. When we come back from this 2-minute commercial break, we will be joined by Mike Stone. We're going to be talking about hypnosis in this segment of the X Zone. 1-877-528-8255 is toll free. My name is Rob McConnell, and this is the X Zone for Monday, June the 23rd, live from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone TV, and on shortwave.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine like hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits, and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining room can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you're visiting, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, Old Florida cuisine at its best. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone broadcast network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
Are you interested in the paranormal, ghosts, UFOs, or psychic phenomenon? Join me, Tim Bartley, co-host of Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, coming mid-January 2017 to the XZBN. We will channel spirits live and talk to them, revealing all kinds of amazing information. Spiritual attachments will be found and removed on the show, and so much more. To find out when you can listen to Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, visit www.xzbn.net for listeners on both sides of the veil.
One 877-528-8255 is our toll-free number. My guest this hour is Michael J. Stone. He's a certified hypnotherapist that works with people as a life coach, a guide for self-improvement. He is a former facilities engineer for a large aerospace corporation and has moved his attention to the research of mind and how it plays the leading role in virtually everything we do, from how it relates to the body, as in dieting, to how it works with the mind as in psychic phenomenon. He noticed how it is used in UFO contact work, how it is as positive as mind control tool can be used for virtually everything and every area of our life. Currently, many people are reading The Secret. The real secret is that it never was a secret. Our mind's in control, and when we plant beans, we get beans. He explains that the answers we want are inside each and every one of us and are as unique as we are. If we make personal contact, we can discover those answers. And Mike Stone, welcome back to the X Zone. How are you, Mike?
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for having me back. And before we go on, I want to say a big thank you to you.
Why?
Because you have given the truth of hypnosis out so that people can actually move forward and change their life. You have helped us, and I know I'm in good company because you've had Bruce Goldberg on and Georgina Cannon.
Yes.
And I'd like to thank you for them, and I'm sure they have thanked you also. But I also thank you for, say, the National Guild of Hypnotists for being able to put forward the true, positive, factual image of what hypnosis is. I really want to thank you for that.
Now, Wow, thank you very much. I'm glad I could help. What have you been up to since you and I last talked?
More and more research, more and more studying, more and more analysis. I'm becoming a research. I see myself something like you, sitting behind a computer with a microphone on. And I'm digging and delving and trying to piece stuff together, moving forward into finally completing a book, which is really based on what you had said before about when you plant beans, you get beans. Because people don't realize how simple that really is, but that's really the truth of life.
Tell me, Mike, if hypnosis is real, and I don't doubt that it is, why is it not more popular?
Well, it's getting more popular, but it's one of those things where sometimes people are a little slow to change, a little slow to adapt because it didn't get good press 10 years ago.
Oh.
And they're still remembering, when I was 25, I went to see a show, and they made people cluck like chickens, and I guess that's what really hypnosis is. And they've missed the fact that, it's been on Oprah, it's been in all the major magazines, it's been approved since 1958 by the AMA. We don't get a lot of press because there's not a lot of money to be made in it. You can't package it into a pill and sell it.
No, you can't. But, the people that I've talked to who have undergone hypnosis with credible people like yourself, Bruce Goldberg, and Georgina Cannon, their stories talk for themselves. The changes that they've experienced in their lives are less than phenomenal.
Well, what's kind of fun about it is, do you like gardening?
Yeah, I love it. In fact, my wife and I were out digging in the lawn today.
Okay, isn't it fun to just plant something and watch it grow on its own and become something beautiful of its own, just for itself?
Yeah, it is. In fact, my wife and I do that, and we call them memories that we're making together.
And I'm sure you probably planted a tree, and you can go by that tree year after year and reminisce. Well, when we work with people, we have a really unique advantage because we don't really cultivate the people to come back to us. We cultivate the people to grow. We're looking for people to move forward and find all of that wisdom and stuff that's inside of them and release it because they had all this power to begin with. They've locked it up. Now we get to help them unlock it and then watch them grow. And it's really cool.
That is great. Now tell me, is it really as simple as people say that have gone under the hypnosis?
I have found that sometimes it's more than simple. While I will concede that some people go faster than others, and this actually, I do work with a couple of other hypnotists, and some of them go in slow and some go in fast. It's up to the individual, but if you follow the instructions, everybody goes in because everybody's been there. When you go to sleep and when you wake up, you're going through a brainwave process that's basically hypnosis.
So it is quite simple.
Oh, yeah, and you've been there, and you'll recognize it. Yeah. I was with a fellow today, and I asked him, have you been in that dreamy state where you kind of float and everything? Will you recognize it when you see it? And he said, yeah. So I said, well, if you do this, and you're going to press on my hand, and I'm going to move you, and we just kind of worked through it a little bit so he'd know what to happen. Bang, he went right in because he recognized that state. I've been here before. I was daydreaming, and now I know what it is.
Tell me, have shows like Mythbusters tested hypnosis?
Yeah, thank you. A lot of people don't know that. I have a hard time saying that word. Mythbusters, it's really a good show sometimes. Mythbusters did do a segment on it, and my friend said, I saw it quickly. I didn't get a chance to watch to see if the whole show was there, but I know it was on YouTube. And loosely what happened was they did a little setup, and they had some of their people from the show just working, regular, and they brought in two people to kind of deliver packages and create like an altercation. And then they left, and after they left, they said, okay, this is your surprise. We're going to put you under hypnosis and see what you can remember. So they gave them a questionnaire on all of the different things that transpired. They filled it out. Then they put them under hypnosis and gave them the questionnaire again. And they remembered far more under hypnosis than they did regularly. And the interesting thing was they didn't really use it in a guided way, which will give you an idea of how powerful it is. Nobody actually guided and said, okay, now slow down, look at the man's tag, what was his name? They just gave him the questionnaire and the stuff popped in. So it's true proof that at least you can remember lots more under hypnosis than you can regularly. I think that's why we get very good reports from people that we teach to be relaxed for studying and test taking, because they're just more relaxed when they'll take a test. So the answers just flow automatically rather than tensing up and stressing and having their minds block out the answers that they really already know.
Now, Oprah did a show recently on past life regression. How does that work?
Effectively, it is believed that we have permanent memory. Everything we've ever seen and smelled and tasted and touched.
Right.
What we'll do is we'll trigger off people just as an example, and we'll give them an illustration. And everyone comes by this probably every day. They'll hear a song, they'll pass a building, and they'll say, oh, that brings back memories. It is bringing back memories. You have all those memories within you, but you need triggers to set them off. The more relaxed you are, the better your memory is. Now, if you have permanent memory and you have lived a previous life, it's also in there. So all you have to do is guide the person back very gently, not necessarily even specifically saying. You can say, go back to a place and time where you first learned this habit. Right. And the person will go back and slide right into a previous life because they have a continuous memory.
All right. Can people also see in the future, Mike? And if so, what do they tell you about 2012?
Okay, it almost seems, from my experience and from the people I've talked to, that there's a cloud around 2012. And I would say it starts around late 2010 and goes out to about 2015, 2020. People see past it, and they'll say some of the people are seeing technological places, and some people are very, very basic agriculture. It's almost like there's two things that are going on after it. But when we get up to like around 2010, they will see earth changes. They'll come back with reports of, well, I'm seeing earthquakes and there's a lot of trouble and everybody's upset, but I'm not getting anything for 2012. But it's there. But it is as though there's a cloud around it.
Now, when I was doing the intro, we talked briefly about The Secret. Now, is The Secret or the law of attraction really just a form of mind control?
Well, I love that word. Mind control. Oh, I love it. Because it's one of those things that, you know, today, especially you'll notice this a lot of times in the political arena, when someone wants to put a negative impart on something, they'll phrase it in a certain way with a certain tone, kind of like if you took too many cookies when you were a little kid and your mom would go, did you eat all those cookies?
Oh, yeah.
You knew you were in trouble, right?
Big time.
Well, what they go is it's mind control. And then you'll see a report in the papers about the CIA is doing mind control. Yes. And everybody has a little bit of a difficulty with it. But the real thing is, look at the two words. It's your mind, and it should be in control. And you should be controlling it. So when you see what The Secret and the law of attraction is, there is a universal law, which is when you plant beans, you get beans. Now, if you want beans, and you plant beans, and you think beans, you tend the beans, you grow the beans, you're going to get pretty good beans. But if you're planting beans and then you're thinking, I really wish it was corn, or why didn't I plant broccoli? What happens is your beans won't be cultivated right, and they won't tend to grow as well as if you were paying attention. So in loosely put, that's kind of what The Secret is, that when you pay attention to things, they will come to you. So if you can learn to control your mind, you will focus on the things that you truly want, hopefully truly want, and what is best for you, not necessarily just what you think is, and you will bring those things to you.
So it's like the old saying, if you confess it, you will possess it.
Yes, because it's building on effectively the same law, and I don't think karma is that far off.
No.
So when we work with people with hypnosis, what we're trying to get them to do is start to see that they can focus their minds on the things they want very, very clearly, and make the proper intention. I know you have a lot of very, very interesting guests on, and they will talk about the power of intention. It's a very, very big thing. Well, how are you going to get a clear intention across unless you can focus your mind, and how will you focus it unless you're controlling it? So hypnosis is teaching you to control your mind so that you can use the power of intention, you can use the law of attraction, and you'll know what the real secret is, which is you had the power all along. You just weren't harnessing it.
I've got a secret to tell you. We've got to go for the news break now.
That's good.
Mike Stone. Nice having you back with us, Mike. Mike
nice
Stone
being back.
is
Thank
with
you.
the South Florida Hypnosis. The website is www.sflhypno.com. That's www.sflhypno.com. 1-877-528-8255 is toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. My name is Rob McConnell. You're listening to us on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone TV, and on shortwave from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I'll be back on the other side of the news with Mike Stone as we continue talking about hypnosis. Next, I'm going to ask Mike, does hypnosis really work with alien abductees? I'll be back on the other side of the news. Don't go away.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
And welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. This portion of the X-Zone is being brought to you by Amira Soul Mystic. She is a master clairvoyant, healer, and spiritual teacher. And she's also a spiritual life coach, intuitive trainer, quantum energy healer, a spirit medium consultant, and she's planning a trip to Egypt in November. And if you'd like to find out more information, her toll-free number is 1-800-659-6796. That's 1-800-659-6796. Or you can visit her online at www.soulmystic.com. My special guest this hour is Michael J. Stone. He's a certified hypnotherapist, and his website is www.sflhypno.com. Mike, how about hypnosis and its use in so many UFO abduction cases?
Well, I like the fact that you bring up the UFO stuff, UFO abductions and people, and paranormal. And what's very, very interesting with hypnosis and the paranormal is that in all the investigations I've been able to do, there is no paranormal. It's all real. I'm not saying there's not frauds out there, but all of the stuff that you're covering is real. It exists. It's just not accepted because people are being narrow-minded and are not opening up.
I also think that the fact that a lot of the people who are involved in hypnosis when it comes to abductees or people who have had encounters are not credible.
Well, you want to use a little forensic style when you deal with anything that you can inject an opinion or a false memory in. I mean, hypnosis with UFO abductees goes back to probably the most famous case ever, the Betty and Barney Hill.
Yep.
And when you listen to what they were able to say, and there were things that, with their levels of education in terms of the stars and whatever, they were able to point out things that were real maps. So it showed that the memory that a person has may be able to be given a "you won't remember this." However, if you dig down enough, the real memory will pop through, and the person can come back and explain a valid experience. And it's interesting because this is almost analogous to what happens to a person who's under anesthesia. They don't seem to have a conscious recollection, and or they will feel they're maybe in a dream state, but their subconscious mind actually grasps what has been said in the operating room.
Just like a near-death experience.
Yes. And now, some people will remember very vividly the near-death experience. Some, it takes a while. And I had read, this one I didn't know a person, because I used to laugh at things like walk-ins and stuff that you've covered. And the more I dig into this stuff, I tell you, it's there. People are just not digging enough. Many people have near-death experiences. But some people don't remember them right away, which is a very, very interesting thing. It seems as though they're programmed to only remember in a certain sequence in a certain time. And that has to take you out there to really understand that paranormal isn't paranormal. You just haven't gathered enough correct information.
Mike, have you ever done hypnosis regression on someone who's been abducted by an alien craft?
Not one.
No way.
And I'll tell you why. My understanding, the 2 or 3 people who have confided in me are so afraid to come forward, discuss it, and open it up that they're almost locked up themselves.
Why are they afraid to come forward and talk? Is it because of the ridicule that people have received in the past by mainstream media?
Without a doubt. They are convinced that no one will give them a fair hearing. And I'll make this analogous to something else. Do you know any children, have met children who are psychic?
Yes.
They lock up very frequently because they're met with ridicule. The children in their school don't know how to handle it. Most of their parents don't know how to handle it. Now, I've dealt with psychic children, and I had a very interesting experience, which was the father was at least nice, and the mother was nice, and they didn't know what to do with it. And I said, well, you have 3 choices. He's making it up. He really sees it.
Mm-hmm.
Or there is something going on that he can't process. And in either case, the truth is, son, you're fine. Because some people go through it, some people experience it. It could be a gift. And even if it's just your imagination, we don't care because we love you. And people who are artists and musicians and stuff have great imagination.
Yes, they do, yeah.
Do you know what he comes back to me after a week, and we're talking, so how is everything going? And the father is like, oh, I forgot to tell you, my brother is the same as him. He sees things too. So they had it there all in front of them. They were fine. The child was normal and gifted. And once the parents accepted it, it allowed the child to accept it. And once the child accepts it and feels good about themselves, they can talk about it, they can communicate it, they know who to speak to, who not to, and they can almost automatically sense who will be ridiculing them and who will be open to it. And they can understand the fact that they have a valuable gift and they can use it. That's not the truth, though, with the abductees. They see so much ridicule, although I think it's shifting now. I put out a bunch of feelers to the MUFON people and stuff, and we'll probably be working on it in the next couple of months.
Wow. 1-877-528-8255 is toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. Mike Stone is our special guest. And Mike, is it recommended, is hypnosis recommended by the medical profession?
Yes. By the way, if you go to my website, which I have done a simplified thing, I picked up another URL, which is just the words South Florida Hypnosis in one word.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense,
.net.
Okay.
SouthFloridaHypnosis.net. If you can remember South Florida and you want to find me on the net and you're looking for hypnosis, it's SouthFloridaHypnosis.net. And in there, I have some links to, for instance, the Mayo Clinic and some other doctors who have come out. I spent a little time working with a fellow who's a doctor, and he works for an insurance company trying to figure out what they can do to keep people from getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really, really surprised. He even did first an age regression, then a past life regression with me. And he can see now how much our minds are influencing our bodies. And finally, medical people are catching on. What goes on is, and I met a bunch of doctors, and they're all well-educated, well-meaning people. But the education that the medical community gets is heavily influenced by the pharmaceuticals. And since there's no money to be made in hypnosis or pharmaceuticals or having people clear their mind and cleanse their bodies using their own minds, you're not going to see a lot of press covering it.
This seems to be the common thread amongst many people these days when it comes to the medical profession, that they are basically the puppets of Big Pharma.
But that's all they're taught. I wouldn't badmouth one of them because I've met so many that are sincere, hardworking, caring, loving people. But each of us only knows what we know, and that comes from our education. I don't know a lot about astrophysics because I was never exposed to it. I know a lot about hypnosis because I was.
Makes sense. Now, does hypnosis have anything to do with the placebo effect? Is it just mind over matter?
Okay, there's an interesting person that I would like to see on your show. The man's name is Richard Bartlett, and he's got 2 medical degrees, and he uses the tie-in with quantum physics to enact very, very rapid change healing. And he makes a comment. He says, it is not mind over matter. It is mind is matter. When we get to quantum physics level, it's our consciousness that seems to be doing everything. So when we look at the placebo effect, what we're seeing is that when people believe and want to get better, they take whatever is offered to them and their mind and body process it to make it work. And
well, that's
it's not
an interesting
just a pill.
concept. Well, that's really interesting.
Our minds are so phenomenal, and I really think that, you know, again, I've been doing a lot of research. I think that this 2012 shift is being seen already in the quantity of people who are moving forward in, for instance, with paranormal, trying to understand other realities, other dimensions, other things that are existing past what we see every day in the news. And that's one of the great services that you provide.
Interesting times that we're in. Tell me, Michael, why do so many diets seem to use some form of hypnosis? Is this the placebo effect?
Not at all, at least in my opinion. What goes on, and I think I can probably dig up some good facts to prove it. And anybody wants to call in, by the way, I'll answer any questions. What goes on is that what really controls our eating habits and our hungers seems to be somehow our mind, our belief. It is getting signals from, for instance, if stomach acid gets to a certain level, this is what the medical people tell me, it says, well, you're hungry. But that is the process of analyzing a signal based on a level of, let's say, of input knowledge. So if my stomach reacts in a certain way, ergo, I am hungry. If I am hungry, I need food. That's one of them. If you can get that signal to be reinterpreted like, I need water, well, you won't eat so much. If the signal is an emotional signal, like, I feel depressed today, and there's a little pattern running in the brain that's when you're depressed, you should eat and make yourself feel better. And if I can interject something for fun, I had a woman, and really, sometimes we get a chance to laugh with our clients. Some of them take it a little seriously. But we ran back and found out that when she was in her high chair, her mother said, if you want to be happy, you have to eat, because the kid was a picky eater.
Oh, my gosh.
So, it goes way back.
There's the programming.
Right. So what happened was anytime the child or as an adult was depressed, she'd eat.
Oh, heavens.
So, it's when you learn it and you can see it and hold it at arm's length and realize it's just a pattern that runs, it's like a little program ran in your mind, like on your computer. You change that computer program, you change everything. You change the way your mind is programmed, you change everything. So we have likes and dislikes. You know, you eat probably different foods than somebody on the West Coast. Why? Because they grew up maybe with a lot of Chinese and Thai restaurants, and you grew up with a lot of European and French restaurants.
Oh, what's the matter? They don't have McDonald's over there? My God, what's going on?
Well, I didn't want to make a pun on your name, but I don't know. I don't know that it's so. Now, by the way,
yes.
And again, I'm going to digress. There's a fellow wrote an interesting thing about adaptation, and he said that they looked at people and they tended to gain weight at McDonald's, but it seems though after they ate it a while, it went away and they started to actually lose weight because their body started to realize it didn't have the nutritional value it should.
So just get rid of it.
That's right. So our minds are geared in a whole bunch of ways to be stimulated to eat. Sometimes it's conscious eating, sometimes it's subconscious eating. So what we can do with hypnosis is have the program set up right so that people are not overeating because of emotional eatings, so that they have a little trigger to tell their mind that they're full after they've eaten half of their food, and so that they feel good about themselves, that they want to get to a position where they make themselves healthier and happier.
So So basically, the diets that use some sort of hypnotism are actually reprogramming.
That's right. Because people generally tend to need a certain amount of food, whatever it is, 2,000, 3,000. And I basically tell my clients, and which is the truth, they probably know a lot more about nutrition and diet than I do. Because the average, they told me a long time ago that the average person that comes to a hypnotist for weight loss has failed in a diet 8 times. So they walk into a hypnotist's office as a committed failure. So how does their self-esteem look? So we're there trying to explain to people, no, you're okay. You've just been fighting something, a program that runs in your mind. And that's really all it is. If we can change those programs, if we can get you on track, you will lose weight. And you can eat the food that you want. You can eat the food that's good.
Stand by, Mike. You and I have to take our final break. Mike Stone is our very special guest, www.southfloridahypnosis.com. That's www.southfloridahypnosis.com. In the next hour, I'm going to be speaking with Mark Paulson. We're going to be asking questions about diet, like, do a lot of diets and a lot of trainers actually kill the stars? We'll be back on the other side of this commercial set as the X Zone continues, live and around the world from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, right here on the Talkstar Radio Network. Don't go away.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
19 Sergeant Central. 19 Sergeant, check. Officers on the scene.
Hi, I'm Larry Lawson, host of Paranormal Stakeout. With over 36 years in law enforcement, I have learned a few things. The most important is the proper gathering and preservation of evidence is vital to putting the bad guy behind bars. It's no different in the world of paranormal investigation. Whether it's the search for the afterlife, cryptozoology, UFOs, and extraterrestrials, how we gather the evidence, preserve that evidence, and present it to a jury of our peers will make the ultimate difference in proving the existence of worlds and entities that are beyond our imagination. Join me, Larry Lawson, every week on Paranormal Stakeout when, along with my guests, we'll take a journey to prove with indisputable evidence what man has struggled to believe for centuries. Go to xzbn.net for the broadcast schedule and check me out at paranormalstakeout.com.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A soul balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today. www.soulbalancing.world.
One 877-528-8255 is toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. Mike Stone is our special guest. His website is www.southfloridahypnosis.com. First of all, Mike, thanks very much for joining us tonight. Always great talking to you.
And, thank you.
And it's funny, after you and I talk, for the next 2 days, I cluck like a chicken whenever my wife calls my name, and I don't know why.
What? I'm sorry?
Yeah, there we go.
Listen, it's better than mooing like a cow, right?
That was last time. Thanks for that, by the way. Listen, do people have psychic experiences with hypnosis?
Yes, and that is where I think a lot of people will be going now that we're watching shifts. There are a number of things with matrix energetics. See, most hypnotists are not one-trick ponies. We all use EFT and NLP and neurolinguistic programming, and when you are looking for something, you want to seem to change your brain state, and train your mind to vibrate at a different level.
Mm-hmm.
I have psychics in the family. I watch what they do. I've been to psychic school, and it is a brain state thing. And if you are trained, if you have a psychic that wants to start to train you, since pretty much everybody's psychic, but we don't handle it, we don't manipulate it. Some people are just naturals at manipulating it. As you drop yourself down and allow yourself to float, you will have psychic experiences. You can get into astral projection. I have had people that leave part of them with me to work, and the other part floats out to visit Uncle Sal in California.
Wow.
Okay? They can actually leave their bodies and walk around my house, which is a little frustrating at times, but yes, they can, and I think this is where it's going.
Mike, what's the number one reason why someone would go to a hypnotist?
They want to improve their lives, break out of the chains. What's the Eagles song? You live your life in chains and don't even realize you have the key. Mm-hmm. You do have the key. The answers are inside of you. The chains are the training and the mind programming that you have received since you were born, much of it through television, the media in general, and you hold the keys. You go to somebody for hypnosis, they'll show you how to unlock those chains and free you, let you do all kinds of cool things.
So basically, you're a mind locksmith.
Yes. We just empower people. They have the power. We break them loose and show them that they have the power. They've had it all along. A lady came and said, would you give a talk on empowering women? And I said, you have to understand, I don't believe in it. She looked at me. I said, they had the power all along. All that has happened is people have given up their power. They have the power. Take it back. You have it. Learn to control your mind. Don't let other people control your mind. You have the power. You've always had the power.
So tell me, did she swat you with her purse?
No, actually, she looked at me and she said, you have to come down. You have to come down. Because it's the truth. We throw away our power. You know what I mean? That's what you're doing, is you're telling people empower themselves. Look at things. Look for the truth. Go out there, find the truth, see it for what it is, and don't listen to everybody else you hear.
Hey, Mike, we've run out of time for tonight. We'll have you back in the future, my friend.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay,
will do.
thank
Take
you
care
very
of
much.
yourself now. Mike Stone, www.southfloridahypnosis.com. Want to come back from the news on the other side of the hour at 6.5 minutes past? Mark Paulson will be with me. And we're going to be talking about diets, trainers, and the death of stars. Right here, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. We'll be back after the news.